22nd. We had a pretty successful meeting yesterday at Lamar, and we are now moving into a crunch time to get everything working by next weekend so we have enough to get on a practice field at Pearland and test all the systems together on a real field. So that's the big picture. Cedric can kind of go over some of the details that we still have to work out in CAD, but a lot of it is just careful building. We got a lot of work to do on the actual robot system, so if you don't feel like you have something to do, just ask, because there's a lot of little pieces that need to be done before Sunday next week. I guess we'll let Cedric kick it off, and we'll go from here. So.
Yeah, yesterday we cut a lot of stuff, especially on the laser. This past week I updated the intake CAD to have new linkages. So the hard stops compared to what we had, the churro stubs, these linkages just hard stop on each other, and they hard stop parallel to each other. So yeah, it's just a lot cleaner. So all of this got cut, and I think we started assembly, but we ran out of time before we finished it. So hopefully within the week, Lamar can finish this intake up. We also changed these wheels out for 4-inch stealth wheels from AndyMark, the blue ones. They had a lot more grip because they're basically brand new. And even with one motor, it shot much better than these Coulsons did. And in fact, we basically popped off a roof panel, so it shot pretty strong, had a good amount of energy. So I think we're gonna probably stick with that for the rest of the year. We'll find ways to add inertia and whatnot, and that was still with one motor, so lots of potential there. I think a lot of the big systems are already in CAD. The real thing that I need to really look at dimension-wise is bumpers and this climber. The past week, Lamar prototyped a much simpler one-hook climber. It was basically a linear slide that had number 35 chain bolted to it, and then just a sprocket that moved the hook up and down. It's much smaller. Right now, all I have is this block in CAD. Right now, all I have is this block, and I think from what I measured, this is all in the right spot. And so this is the necessary bumper gap that we need. We did start production on bumpers. We did 2 of the long sides, and then I think we partially got into the shorter sides. But I think when they first checked it, it wasn't quite right. So I already made a new sort of revision of the whole bumper plate and just made it easier for them to manufacture instead of giving a lot of these little weird dimensions. So yeah, I think the biggest question mark right now is how will this side of the robot kind of come together, especially with the climber, the battery, and the bumpers. That's a lot of things that need to come together in a really tight space. So yeah, right now, what I have is this 2x2 Versa angle that we can just cut, and then we can make bumper studs. It's really not clean, and it's gonna be real jank, so I'm not a huge fan of it. Looking at it now, it may be possible to try a latch system there. It'll just be a lot less clean than whatever we have going on the sides and on the other side of the robot. It's gonna be real slim, maybe not as safe, but we could, in theory, pull a latch system off there. Looking at it now. Options could also be shifting the climber a hole or 2 either side. I guess that would mess with our battery, but yeah. I think we're looking pretty good for Pearland. Yeah, I know programming got a lot of things done. They defined a lot of controls, and so we're looking pretty good to at least hopefully be able to pick up and shoot. I think the really big question mark is still the hopper. We discussed on Saturday the possibility of putting hopper panels on bumpers. Now, whether that's practical enough or really, like, we really need to look at if it's worth it or not, because mounting something like that to our bumper, it's gonna I mean, yeah, it's nice. We can, as if we take the bumper off, we can service the whole robot without anything in our way. But at the same time, we need to really think about like, is it worth it? Is it gonna make inspection a lot harder? And just little things like that. But yeah, a lot of the other subsystems are basically fully catted. Like this intake, as long as we have the parts, you realistically could just build the full intake and bring it to Paradox because it's basically ready. Um, the shooter, same thing can be said here. I think we're just missing a Neo for a second flywheel, but yet again, it performed fine with one, and I'm sure that's going to be enough for Paradox. So yeah, right now the biggest question mark is this side of the bumper. The other two sides are pretty solved. It's just this side that's really tough because there's a lack of space on both ends.
So you want to have that 2x2 extend over the board? Is that the way you've catted it, or is that just you haven't
Yeah,
catted it?
that's the way I have it because I mean I don't know. I think what I was trying, I did this kind of late, but what I was trying to do is just put it in a reasonable spot. I don't think it necessarily has to. I just gave us options because thinking we would have to just splice this off and make it as thin as possible without disrupting the holes and stuff. And I just wanted to give us options. So if we decide to go with one, we can trim off whatever. If we want to decide to put a pin in this hole, then like
Yeah,
I just tried to give options.
I've got a picture, and you're right. You've got 6 half-inch holes there, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think you got, yeah. Oh, on the other side, the plate doesn't give you that much room, but oh, I guess that's the shorter side. But behind the battery you can use, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And if we do decide to do this style of bumper, we would need to think about this new battery solution because with the old climber, the climber just acted as the walls of our battery box. But now we're gonna have to fully make a battery box that goes around. Shouldn't be a huge issue. I mean,
actually, the climber is one corner, so
yeah.
So yeah, I think yeah. I mean, right now the good news is the belly pan is all set and it all works. So
yeah.
You don't have to put any belly pan in or anything.
I also added this 1x1. I think this is the right one. Is
yeah, that's it.
The way I have it set up is, let's see if I can. The way I have it set up, it's an inch from the belly pan, and my idea is to just use 2 plugs to go connect it to the drivetrain, and then if we wanted to, we can the shooter 2x1s have end caps at the end, so we could even screw into those. We just need to drill a couple extra holes, I think, because of the hole pattern.
Yeah, we already drilled them, so
okay, yeah,
perfect. They're set, and you have it at the top of the 1x2 or the bottom.
Yeah, this is the top.
Okay, the top. Okay.
So if we have to run wires underneath, it'll be easier.
Okay.
There's a Robo-Rio there too, right? Did we end up moving that, or where are we thinking about putting the Robo-Rio?
I think the Rio right now is still on this side of the robot. Right now, I think the way that we have it set up is the PDH is actually turned 90 degrees to where the battery ports down here actually face the battery, and then our breaker is on the side of the climber, and then I think our Robo-Rio is somewhere in this region close to the intake.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I think that's an okay solution. I think it really depends on how we do the hopper, because I think if we do a hopper that has a wall going across from here, going across over the middle of the robot, we can just bolt our electronics onto there so that they're just completely open. And so if we ever need to troubleshoot them, it's not nearly as big of a pain as having to remove the spindexer and unplugging all the wires. Because we kind of took the spindexer in and out multiple times yesterday, and it wasn't like as easy as we hoped because of just the tolerances and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely something we need to look at and think about.
Well, I think we need to move into putting the electronics where pretty close to what we've already kind of tested, and then modeling things that are not even in here, just so we have them as blocks, right? It could be just SparkMax block. It doesn't have to be that accurate, and it just takes up that much space, so we have every piece in the CAD. And then from there, you should be able to get going with like hopper panels.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to go to Pearland, we need to just make some really rough panels, even if they're out of just like cardboard or something, but just have an idea of kind of what we're going to do, and zip tie something to keep the balls in.
Shower curtain.
Or nets. Yeah. I mean, hopefully we can come up with a little bit more detail on the CAD, and we just start making parts and see what we can put together.
I mean, if you did have even churros or something that was vertical, you could attach something to it. So we find and we have the climber there. It's just sitting there. So if you wanted to use the climber with the brackets off the climber, 90 degrees. Yeah, and you got the shooter too, so it's pretty high. So maybe you just worry about where the intake is.
Do you think we should make a priority of putting the camera system on the robot so we can test on Pearland's field?
That sounds good. Yeah, we need two cameras at least.
Basically, just take everything off of 2025.
I've got a whole set for the.
Okay.
It's Orange
Well,
5
then-
Plus, so yeah.
Well, then just copy the camera mounting system, the two cameras on either side of.
Yeah,
you want to do it on the climber or the shooter?
I think one on the climber and one to do the shot, and then one that has to face forward because of the way the hook has to see the April tags. I mean, you get kind of close to the tower, and so it has to kind of point towards those. So, I mean, we could have it off of the climber, 90 degrees, have one that points, in the direction of the shooter, and then right next to it have a 90 degree that, points towards the wall. Or, I don't know. Or, I mean, the other put it on the shooter.
So you're talking about a direction opposite of the intake?
Yeah, so that you can see forward the front of the robot, because that's where the April tags are. They're the front and a little bit left. If you
Okay.
pull in from the side, you have to kind of see to the side.
And that's going to be enough to get the depth that we need? We don't need to have two cameras facing the same direction?
And they this time they have two April tags everywhere. So
Well, I think doesn't that depend on which side of the tower we climb on?
well, and this is set up to climb towards the front. I mean, we could do the other one, but it'll do the hopper. But the hopper would be there's two on the hopper too.
Okay.
So, yeah. But if ideally, it's just simpler if we take a 90-degree turn and then just go straight, and then go over. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine for like autonomous. That's what we really matter. And then if for some reason we need to telly up climb at the end, we don't really necessarily need the April tags to be fully functional.
Right, and you can see it in front of you now, or it's you don't have to see the middle of the field. It's pretty close. Yeah, and the hook is going to run into the bar. So,
do you have all the components, Cedric, from last year's robot? All the camera components?
I think I don't think we ended up catting a lot of those.
Okay.
I think I have the mounts, and I think depending on how we have it in person, I can always just modify that mount to make it work. Shouldn't be a huge issue.
I think there's two pieces that are about the size of a Robo Rio, each one of them almost, right, Les?
Okay, the Orange Pi Plus is a little smaller, but a little bit taller than the Robo Rio.
Yeah, you
And
might want to give dimensions or a link or something that Cedric can just
okay, I'll give
make
you
a
the
block,
link. Yeah,
so he can
yeah,
make
and
a rough estimation
maybe
where that's gonna
even Orange Pi, um, like a 3D print or something.
The only one I'm concerned about going vertical is the Rio. Everything else could potentially go up on a hopper panel or some vertical panel, Cedric. Like all this camera stuff doesn't necessarily need to get nested below the Spindexer.
Yeah, you could put it on the climber. I mean, side.
And since that's probably the most important stuff right now, I would focus on where roughly you want to put it and working on a panel that we could mount to, let's say, the climber / intake plate, something that we can quickly just mount all that stuff, connect the cameras, and test it this weekend.
Okay. Wait, so we would need a total of 2 cameras, one facing the climber and then one facing the intake. Is that right?
Opposite of the intake.
Okay, so facing away from the intake. Okay.
Yeah, one to help us aim and shoot. That's mounted on the climber, so we know which way we're shooting, and then another one that's helping us aim the auto climb. So it has to face away from the intake to look at an April tag, so we get the right position, so we climb correctly.
Well, couldn't we mount both? Can't we mount both somewhere on the shooter? Because I think it'll still give us the range of view that we need. We can make some space.
Well, so you could, the one that points forward towards the intake would work. I think on the climber side, we might want to get it right at the perimeter or something, like literally on the climber.
Yeah, I think the climber will block the angle if we put it on the shooter plate.
Okay.
But yeah, with the other camera, yeah, we could put it on the shooter and have it face away from the intake. That's fine.
Andy, it has to face the intake, because when you're going forward, you need to see over the intake to the April tags. So Cedric's right. You could put it on the shooter towards the intake, and it would see past the intake to the April tags.
Okay. Isn't this just a function of what side that we're climbing on, though?
It does, but this is set up to climb. The April tags are cheated to the left side. So if we go the other side, it would be the hopper anyway. But we really want to be on the we want to go towards the driver's station, and we'll be on the kind of the left side. So we're pointed towards the driver's station where there's 2 April tags, and they're on that side, because the other one, if we had set it up the opposite way, you wouldn't see any April tags, or might see half of one or something.
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, and we could do this we could do this in the week. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I just want Cedric to have a rough idea of what we're doing, so maybe get a rough sketch, Cedric, and post some screenshot, and then we can give you some feedback.
Yeah, I think I could post a picture of the tower with the April tags.
Okay.
Anything else?
How about the bar on the hex that's supporting the 4-bar or deploying the 4-bar?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. Or I guess the issue there is no longer hitting balls in the spindexer. I think the issue now is can we get balls consistently and controllably go over it, because it is higher now compared to what it was.
Oh, it is higher. Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe we need to do 2 motors or something, because I think that might be a problem. Or just put a bar that's closer to the. I don't. I think it's going to be in the way. That hex shaft is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if we use, an ultraplanetary on a 550 or something, but just try one, see what happens. Try see what happens with one, and we'll see. But, yeah.
And we haven't really tested if this intake can work with one motor.
But I think even 2 motors would be fine because I think otherwise you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.